Alright, sorry, air kicked on. It's warm outside, storming, humidity. Just gonna have to deal with it. My fault. So, the last one was the Cannibal Cafe, which was... that was certainly nothing to have fun with. So let's continue. Part 3.
It's late at night, and 18-year-old Kathleen Allen and her boyfriend Michael Carroll are spending time in a motel room in which they're living. On this day, nothing is awry, and to some could even be considered painstakingly ordinary. At 10 p.m., Michael vaguely claims that he has to go do something and leaves after assuring her that he'd return in the morning. And so, Kathleen goes to bed, and her night comes to an end. It's morning, and Michael Carroll is nowhere to be found. Regardless, Kathleen doesn't think too much of it and goes about her life and work as usual. 3 days later, while at work, however, she receives a It's a man, and he knows where Michael's located. He claims that he was involved in a shooting and wouldn't be coming home. Shocked, Kathleen informs her boss that she needs to leave, and given the circumstances, she's given permission to do so. A few moments later, she's seen running out into the parking lot, where a bearded man approaches her. The two reportedly engage in conversation before she ends up jumping in his car. Soon after, the man joins her in the vehicle, and it speeds off, never to be seen again. This is the last time that Kathleen Allen was ever seen in public alive.
It rains, she spends what she puts away.
Sorry, it's getting kind of nasty outside. That's why I'm looking out there, because I'm just hoping the power doesn't go out again. And my dogs are on that bed over there fighting, so I'm paying attention, but not as good as I should be.
On October 29, 1945, a man named Leonard Lake was born in San Francisco, California. Being regarded a bright kid, his early years were relatively unsuspecting. When he turned 6 years old, however, his parents had separated, to which Lake and his siblings would move in with their grandmother. Bizarrely, Lake began to exhibit disturbing habits. On numerous occasions, he was caught photographing his sister's nude. He'd collect mice and dissolve them in chemicals, and he'd extort his siblings into performing sexual acts, all of which was condoned by his grandmother with not a single shred of effort to put a stop to it. Needless to say,
Ew.
Lake hailed from a broken home, something that only catalyzed his morbid fascinations. However, because they were left unchecked, and often encouraged, Leonard Lake's life would only spiral further and further as time began to overtake him. By the turn of the 80s and throughout adulthood, Leonard Lake became heavily invested in survivalism, a movement focused on preparing for severe emergencies. Notably, Lake had an undying fear of a nuclear holocaust, and on numerous occasions attempted to build safety bunkers at his residences, to varying success. In 1981, he put out an advertisement for a survivalist partner in a war game magazine in hopes of meeting someone to live with him for honestly, God knows why. The reason this is important is because this single page, this one advertisement, had led Lake to meet one of the most vile people in existence, exacerbating Lake's pre-existing morbid fantasies and leading to his status as one of the most disgusting and disturbing monsters ever to exist. The man's name was Charles Ng, a native of Hong Kong and a convict who was in and out of prison. Almost immediately, the pair hit it off, collaborating in numerous crimes like firearm theft that eventually led to their arrest and a brief stint in prison. After their release, the two settled down in a wooded town named Wilseyville, and it was here where Lake enlisted the help of various residents to build yet another bunker right next to his cabin. Inside, he'd begin stockpiling illegal weapons. However, alongside them was something that didn't exactly belong. It was equipment to record video.
All right. So he's gonna build a bunker, more than likely for a like a torture room. Has to be, right? Sorry. We're gonna go back because I screwed it up. Right there.
Good evening. It's a Sunday on October 22nd, 23rd, something like that. Very close to my 38th birthday. And I'm starting this tape without script or without any real organization of what I want to say. This tape, what you're hearing now, is going to be the lead-in of the various phases of construction of a building, which hopefully will be the first of a series of underground buildings. The main emphasis of the building, the whole justification for its expense and its effort, will be a hidden portion of it, a secret room, if we can call it that, that will house a cell, a jail cell, if you will. And the purpose of that cell, and the main purpose, hence, of the building, will be the imprisonment of a young lady who probably at this moment is unknown to me. What I want is an off-the-shelf sex partner. I want to be able to use a woman whenever and however I want. And when I'm tired or satiated or bored or not interested, I simply want to put her away, lock her up in a little room, get her out of my sight, out of my life. The advantages of such a situation are, of course, obvious, and even beyond sexual. Such a woman, totally enslaved, would be useful for the mundane chores that I have to do, but I'm not particularly interested in doing. Clean house, washing dishes, etc.
Yeah. Looking through history, I found that people who want to enslave other people, those enslaved people typically don't do their best work. They always find reasons to not do things. And, well, this guy's batshit crazy. Politely. And I say that with all respect, if he's alive and out there and has not been captured. But if he's captured and dead, he's batshit crazy.
Slave. There's no way around it. Primarily a sexual slave, but physical slave as well.
I don't understand why he wants a sex slave. Look at that guy. Ooh la la. He could land any woman he wants.
Hard copy for Monday, February 15th.
Hi, I'm Kyle Kraska. It's being called the creepiest
I remember Hard Copy. I didn't watch it, but I remember it.
crime scene in America. A remote cabin where cops say some of the most gruesome serial killings in California history took place. Well, now Ed Miller's giving you an exclusive and very disturbing look inside this house of horrors.
First, they were kidnapped, then robbed, raped, and killed. 12 innocent victims, 3 women, 7 men, 2 babies. Police said they were all killed by former Marine Charles.
The real reason for his bunker wasn't solely for survivalism. That was merely a piece of it. You see, Lake and Ing had this morbid obsession with capturing. Lake claimed that he needed them to serve him after the impending nuclear holocaust, and frequently went on record to demean the existence of women entirely. And so, for years, Lake and...
If you demean them, then you don't need them. Why don't you and Ning become sex buddies? And leave them alone.
Ing would capture, torture, inside this bunker, all the while documenting it on his myriad of VHS cameras installed inside each room. The woman we saw at the beginning of this segment wasn't just someone random, because it was Kathleen Allen. The woman who left her job because of the news of her boyfriend's death. The woman who entered the car of a stranger and was never seen again. The woman who fell right into the grasp of Leonard Lake. While the pair's main target were women, they wouldn't hold back on abducting their relatives. Often, the pair would coerce men into coming out to their bunker in hopes of work, before they'd rob them, strangle them, and steal their identities. Thereafter, they'd manipulate their families into coming to their property, much like they did with Kathleen, to which they'd lock them up in Lake's dungeon and leave them with an ultimatum. They can either serve Lake and Ing unapologetically, obeying their every command without hesitance, or they could be killed. No matter which option they chose, though, the outcome was all the same. Their lives would be brutally torn from them, with not a single soul around to help. In June of 1985, police were called to a hardware store after Charles Ng was caught trying to shoplift a device. After catching wind of the situation, Lake rushed there himself in hopes of paying for it. However, when police asked for an ID, he handed over one that looked nothing like him. It was the license for Robin Stapley, a man who turned up missing just a few weeks prior. Following this, both Ng and Lake were arrested. However, just 4 days later, and while in custody, Leonard Lake would swallow cyanide pills, effectively ending his own life. Upon searching Lake's property, authorities discovered multiple vehicles belonging to their numerous victims, along with a makeshift burial site near their compound. Inside of it, they unearthed 40 pounds of crushed human bone fragments coming from what they believed to be the remains of at least 11 bodies. Inside the bunker, they find a treasure map leading to 2 buckets containing various IDs and personal belongings, and a myriad of VHS tapes depicting the torture and murder of their victims. To say that their discovery was grim is a criminal understatement, as the breadth of their crimes simply cannot be summarized in writing. The scene? Surreal. And the content on those VHS tapes? Indescribably worse.
It makes you want to arrest the guys and then put them on a weight loss regimen. Get them looking nice and good, trim, shave the beard, wax their entire body. And then maybe break their hands. And then put them in jail with the convicts that typically like to shake hands by forcibly bending the other person over and inserting not their hand. That's their way of saying hello. That's what you needed for this guy. He swallowed cyanide. That's too good for him. That's the ending he deserved.
Today, Charles Ng is still alive, serving his life sentence in the San Quentin State Prison. Given his court verdict, being 12 counts of first-degree murder, it's undeniable that this man will never again see the light of day. The crimes that he and Leonard Lake committed are some of the worst in history, and the fact that they videotaped it adds that extra layer of repulsion. To this day, the tapes filmed by Charles Ng and Leonard Lake are sealed away, with no plans to ever be released. How?
What do you think? Netflix is going to take them? No one needs to see them. There's no need to see them.
However, considering the content presumed to be on them, it's safe to say that some things are better off lost. Indefinitely.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and end that one there. That was a good 15 minutes. We're going to end that one there. About 30 minutes, so hopefully there's just 2 more. Oh, he does name, yeah. Tape 4, he does number them. Oh well. All right, well, I'm going to end this here, and then I'll click on that just to kind of give myself an idea of how many more I've got for this. But I'm going to say 2 more. This next one looks like it goes 15 minutes as well. So, I won't even look. So, like and subscribe. Let me know if you want me to do more of the disgusting like this. There was a channel, Your Maker, has like a 2-hour 911 calls, which that one would be rough. That one would be rough. The idea of that one is rough. So I'm going to end this here. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and have a good day. Have a good night.